Kimi K3 has been getting a lot of attention lately. I saw a lot of polished outputs on the internet. Then I wonder how far can a free plan can go. In today's video, I will show you the result through 5 use cases. You can skip to the part that fits your workflow. Kimi K3 is a new open source model from Moonshot AI. It is being positioned as a strong model for coding, front-end generation, and agent-style workflows. According to official information, the model has a very large parameter scale and supports long context processing up to 1 million tokens. That matters for heavy tasks like coding or complicated workflow. One more thing before we start. Kimi's own platform is under heavy demand right now. Their upgrade plans are temporarily locked because capacity is close to the limit, and compute is being prioritized for existing subscribers. So instead of testing directly inside Kimi, I'll run Kimi K3 through OpenRouter, which is a platform that lets you access and compare multiple AI models via one unified API. That also lets me check token usage after every task. When I mention dollar amounts later, those numbers mainly tie to generated tokens and completion usage. The video still follows the free plan idea. Before we start building, let's look at why people are paying attention to Kimi K3. On this coding benchmark chart, Kimi is not sitting somewhere in the middle. It's right next to the strongest models on the list. In deep SWE, Kimi K3 sits behind GPT 5.6 Sol and Fable 5. Then in Frontier SWE, it jumps to second place with only behind Fable 5. The right side of the chart is where things get more interesting. On Terminal Bench 2.1, Kimi scores 88.3, almost matching GPT 5.6 Sol. In Program Bench, Kimi actually takes first place with 77.8, and in SWE Marathon, Kimi also lands at the top. So the benchmark story is pretty clear. Kimi K3 doesn't win every single test, but it keeps showing up near the top. That sounds impressive on a chart, but how it really is still a big question mark. Let's check whether it works or just hype with me. This first group is about getting something useful on screen quickly. A landing page helps test a product idea, while a mini tool can support a repeated creator workflow. Both are good fits for this setup because they can run locally in the browser without a backend. For the first test, I asked Kimi to build a product landing page. I used this prompt to create the page. After Kimi generated the code, I copied everything into VS Code, press F5 to run the code, then save it in the local folder, and opened the file in the browser. The first impression was pretty strong. The page looked polished, and the overall design was much better than I expected from a first try. Scrolling worked smoothly, and most of the buttons did what they were supposed to do. The main thing I wanted to test was the live demo section. On the left side, the page shows raw notes. On the right side, it generates a short AI brief from those notes. Visually, this section looked good. The issue only showed up when I tried to test different inputs. I couldn't add my own raw notes. So I decided to fix this output by using this prompt. Let's check the result again. It works as I expected, so this page is usable now. This use case took about 25 minutes in total. After one correction, OpenRouter showed around 130,000 tokens and about $1.23. The second use case is a small tool for creators. I asked Kimi to build a viral hook and title scorer. The idea is simple. You paste in a video title or hook, and the tool scores it. This kind of tool fits my workflow because I'm constantly testing hooks and titles. Kimi did a nice job with the interface. The input area was easy to understand, the button worked, and the score breakdown looked useful at first glance. I also liked that the app gave improvement suggestions instead of only showing a number. Then I tested the logic more carefully. I copied the improved version that the app suggested and scored it again. That's where the problem showed up. The improved title sometimes scored the same or even lower than the original title. That makes the tool hard to trust. There was also a weird example inside the app where the strong title scored 42, while the medium title scored 44. So the UI is useful, but the scoring rules need another pass. This test took around 20 minutes. OpenRouter showed about 19,000 tokens and roughly $0.28. I still like this use case a lot because it's practical. I just wouldn't use the first version without fixing the scoring system.
By the way, if you're enjoying this breakdown, make sure to subscribe to AI Fire. We cover the most important AI updates every day. Our goal is simple: help you stay ahead without spending hours sorting through the noise. So hit subscribe, follow AI Fire, and keep your AI advantage growing.
The next group is more fun and more visual. Let's start with the third use cases that many people tested and showed on X, creating game. For this test, I asked Kimi to build a Flappy Bird-style browser game. This is a good test because the model has to handle several things at once, like game state, controls, scoring, etc. After the code was ready, I pasted in VS Code, then saved it directly in the browser. This one worked on the first try. The character responded to keyboard and click controls. Obstacles moved across the screen, the score increased, and the restart button worked after game over. That's a solid result for one prompt. The design was the only part that felt a bit basic. It looked more like a game inside a web page than a polished app-style game. For a quick prototype though, I'm fine with that. This was the fastest successful use case in the whole test. The full build took around 9 minutes. OpenRouter showed about 15,000 tokens and around $0.21. Next, I tested whether Kimi could create a short intro animation for AI Fire. Since Kimi is not a video generating tool, so the output is different from a normal video tool. Kimi generates an HTML file. To turn that into an MP4, I'd need to record the browser or use a separate render script. For this test, I asked for a 16:9 animation with the logo in the center, AI Fire below it, and the tagline, Practical AI Daily. The first result showed that Kimi can create motion. The page had animation and the visual direction made sense. The problem was the logo. It didn't appear correctly in the first version. After fixing that, I still had to select the logo from a local folder, so the asset workflow was not as smooth as I wanted. And the background particles looked cool for a few seconds. But once the logo appeared, they made the frame feel busy. This use case took about 50 minutes total. OpenRouter showed about 40,000 tokens for the first version, then another 45,000 tokens for the fix. The cost was around $0.46 first, then about $0.26 for the correction. My takeaway is that Kimi can create simple motion graphics in its own browser. If you combine Kimi K3 with other video making tool, you can make video like this. The last group is where I pushed the scope harder. In this case, I want to test Kimi's ability in rendering 3D object and reasoning logic. So creating 3D globe is a perfect example here. For the final test, I used this prompt. This is the most visually ambitious use case in the video. It's also the easiest one to overcomplicate, so I kept it focused on the prototype experience rather than live data. Kimi understood the main task well. The UI responded smoothly, and the route panel updated when I interacted with the controls. As a first version, that's already useful. The weak point is the design. The terrain difference was not clear enough, and the ocean depth effect was still too simple. I wanted darker areas for deeper water and lighter tones near shallow zones, but the output only hinted at that. There was also a small demo issue with routes. When I picked London to Paris, the two cities were too close. This is geographically incorrect. This use case took the most time. The full build took around 1 hour and 10 minutes. OpenRouter showed around 600,000 tokens and about $1.17. The output is usable as a prototype, but I'd still improve the globe design before using it as a serious product demo. After testing all 5, I have a clearer picture of where Kimi K3 fits. The landing page gave me the strongest first impression on design. It looked polished quickly, though the editable demo flow needed a fix. The productivity tool had a clean interface and a useful concept, although the scoring rules were not reliable enough yet. The browser game was the fastest win. In under 10 minutes, I had a playable Flappy Bird-style prototype. For the AI Fire intro, Kimi handled browser-based animation better than expected. However, the logo display and busy background still needed cleanup. The 3D global view was the heaviest test. Kimi understood the structure, but the 3D visual quality needed more polish to match the premium reference style. The cost-to-output quality surprised me most. Kimi K3 feels very competitive for design and prototype tasks, especially compared with more expensive models I've tested. The main trade-off is time. A lot of the token usage goes into reasoning, so some tasks take longer, even when the final cost still feels reasonable. Fixes can also become expensive. In the first use case, the initial generation was much cheaper, but the correction pushed the total cost up a lot. So if you want to save quota, the best move is to make the first prompt specific. When something breaks, ask for one focused fix instead of telling the model to improve the whole project. My final takeaway is that Kimi K3 is very good at turning ideas into clickable local prototypes. Kimi's visual taste is close to what I like for AI Fire content, so I'll use it for my daily task. I have prepared a document that contains every prompts I use in this video. Comment AI Fire below and I will send directly to you. If you want more practical AI workflow tests like this, subscribe to AI Fire. I'll keep testing models through real tasks and updating latest AI news. Thanks for watching, goodbye, and I will see you in the next video.